If anyone were to list what they believe they need to reach their full potential as an artist, they would probably list things like time for practice, good tools, and motivation or inspiration. Relationships are something that a lot of people wouldn't include on this list, given that drawing and painting seem like solo activities most of the time. But without community, you are very likely going to hit a wall where you feel disconnected and wonder why your passion or sense of purpose is so much more difficult to find than it used to be. Motivation is the first reason why it's so important. It's really nice to be able to share your work and occasionally get feedback from someone you know and trust, and the friendly competitiveness that comes from mutually working on improving the same skill can be fun and rewarding given that both their success and your own matters to you. On top of that, whether making a product to sell or just for fun, you can work on projects and enter contests with people you know well, which is usually more rewarding and goes more smoothly compared to doing this with strangers. You already know each other's strengths and preferred roles to play. For those working towards or that have a career in art, it helps to not only know people to share feedback between, but that you can exchange career-related advice with. There's a lot to know about making money and providing your services as an artist, so much that it's kind of overwhelming, and it's not always easy to find answers to your specific questions online. For example, if you want to try tabling at conventions, you need to figure out how to get things made and printed, how much to make, how to transport it, how to set up your table, set your prices, and more. It'll really help to know someone with this experience that you can bring your questions to and get advice from. Adding to this, having connections makes a really big difference in your ability to find work, and it's less daunting to navigate and figure out the business side of art when you have friends figuring it out with you. More than ever, I felt a huge benefit of having creative people as friends is just that you understand each other. Especially in these past few years with frustrations like generative AI, it's often nicer to surround yourself with people who understand why creative work matters and can see the problem with data scraping. Of course, there are plenty of people who recognize the issue with that despite not being an artist in any form, but some unfortunately won't care about something until they themselves start to be more directly affected, and being around people like that isn't very fun. Another thing I want to quickly add is that you shouldn't assume making and discussing art should be all that you do in your creative circles. That's a great part of it, but you are allowed to, and probably should, have more than one common interest. It can be like having friends who also happen to be artists, and not like a formal, mutually beneficial business relationship. So then comes the difficult part, actually making friends with this shared interest. For most people, the easiest option is going to be Discord. That's how I've met most of the artists I stay in touch with, and there's definitely distinct pros and cons for having your creative social outlet online. One pro is that it's easy to stay friends for a long time. Relationships formed in person can be difficult to maintain after you graduate, switch jobs, or move away, but that sort of change doesn't tend to happen if your relationship habits are all built around being physically distant already. The main con is, of course, that your friends live in your phone or on your computer, and that is a notable barrier. You can still do things together in person, but it's going to take travel planning and often big expenses. None of the people I've met through Discord live anywhere remotely close to me, and odds are you'll have or have had the same experience. You could look for a Discord server or similar that is made for connecting artists specifically in your area, but that's something I haven't looked for or tried myself, so I'm not really sure how common that is, especially for the young digital artists that I assume make up most of you watching these videos. Still, definitely worth looking into, I think. In-person options include going to art-related events. Look into what goes on locally, and better yet, occurs on a regular enough basis that you could see the same people routinely. Traveling to events is great too, although it may be more difficult to keep in touch with the people you meet there. Making connections is also one of the reasons some people choose to go to art school, although you should probably have more reason than just that. There are cheaper ways to make friends. Based on just my own experience, I would recommend a larger program with niche options to study over something small and generalized. I went through a small program, and while I met great people, not many of them fit into my niche of digital art and animation, and instead were going off to do things like gallery art or graphic design, not even really in the same field as me. If anyone has gone to school for art, I'd be interested to hear what your own experience was in terms of being able to find people within your art niche, or if you have a different recommendation than me. Don't be discouraged if you're trying to find a community and haven't had any success yet. Just keep checking out various groups and events, and try to participate however you can, rather than always sit on the sidelines. There are a lot of opportunities for this, and lots of other artists out there who are looking for the same thing as you, but you're only going to find each other if you put yourself out there a bit. Here are a couple videos about related topics if you're interested. Thanks for watching!